Ravana and Ram, that story is there. So when I came to Sri Lanka here, it was my dream to at least visit that, okay, what was that place where the King Ravana and his golden palace of Sri Lanka was there. So I went to Dambulla, to the Sigiriya rocks, and there I visited just to have some kind of that different kind of feeling connection. Just like over at the top of that palace, the rooms, of course, now there is a different history over here going on, Lord Kashyapa and all, but we are more concerned with that ancient history over there. The Ramboda waterfall, where this Lord Rama gathered all those his Sena, and then from there they make that a strategy to attack over the Ravana's Lanka and all. So we went to Ramboda, went to the Hanuman temple, Sita Amman temple, and this is one of the very pious thing for us, because this is the allegedly the foot of Lord Hanuman, from where he went inside that Ashok Vatika and he tried to search where Sita was kept. So I went to specifically explored all those areas. Coming from those ancient times, the connection between Sri Lanka and India continues. Now, in the end, now the current times, the Lord Buddha, so actually he was also from India, from the state of Bihar and all. He and the religion, and I think most of the religion in India, predominant religion in Sri Lanka is Buddhism. As I understand, probably 75% or more people, they follow Buddhism, originated from India. So we went there to visit this place at Dambulla, Sigiriya, and then Kandy, offered my prayers to that tooth of relic and all. Well, now coming on to the India. So this was just a historical connection, and that connection from ancient times is growing further in current times as well. When we talk about India, as we say, it's an incredible India. And in fact, it's not a country, it's a continent. If you just see the various states of the country, they are actually like a continent. Every state has got a different kind of, you can say, the language, even the working scenario everywhere. So in context of you can say the whole scenario, you can equate it, it's a continent. It's actually not a country. Of course, India, when it comes to India, the picture of the Taj Mahal comes there, one of the 7 wonders of the world. So hardly 200 kilometers from the Delhi where I work. So when we talk about India, this picture of Taj Mahal instantly comes to our mind. And then, of course, I shared in the morning that we have got the dubious distinction of having the largest population in the world as of now. This is the today's figure of the population, and India is sitting at 1.46 billion, more than 1.46 billion people are there. Now you can understand the various types. You apply to any of the situation, because of that mammoth figure, mammoth number, our policies fail and our so many problems arise just because of the number. But that we are trying to control, but I think sometimes there are the flip side of that also, that okay, we have got the biggest trained manpower also in terms of the, you can say, when we talk about the GDP and all, so that's the other side. So when we talk about that, simultaneously, it is one of the fastest growing economies in the world as well. Currently, rate of growth of India is 8.2%. I would just try to equate the Indian rupee to the Sri Lankan rupees, it is roughly 3.5 times. So, and it is the biggest democracy of the world with variable social, cultural, geographical, and economic background. Well, now coming on to the topic of the keynote speech. So as it was the human rights violation, or even talk about the crime against women. So let's begin with the Indian scenario from the ancient times. In ancient times, the females used to be worshipped, and it was called as a Stri Puja. All over, you can say, country during those ancient times. Yatra Nairaste Pujate Ramante Tatra Devta. This is the code of Manu, which has quoted this. Yatra Narayantye Pujte. The English version is, women are honored where divinity blossoms there. So that is the concept which was given in our Code of Manu, from where we started, that how much respect used to be given during those ancient times to the females. But with the passage of time, there occurred change in the social values. And then the changing social aspect, now when we talk about the Ramayana period and all, in India, we have got that counterpart that is called as Ramcharitmanas. He has described that whole story of Ravana, Sri Ram, Sita, Hanuman in a little bit different manner. So this is the famous poet Tulsidas, who actually, what we follow, all those characters, it was written by him, Ramcharitmanas, what we follow. So in Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidas quoted that, Dol Gawar Shudra Pashunari, Sakas Tadana ke Adhikari. Means these five types, Dhol stands for double-sided barrel drum. The Gawar means the idiot person. The Pashu means the animal, Pashu, and Nari, that is female. That means he said that all these five objects or persons, double-sided barrel drum, idiot person, the lower caste person, we have got that caste system during those times when this Tulsidas and Ramcharitmanas was there. Animal and female, they should be beaten always. In his recitations, somewhere he mentioned, the idea of his mentioning was something different, but that was the quote. So now you can understand how the psyche of that, you can say, the society changed over a period of times. This was the place where the Sita, actually it was in the context of Sita, and it's a long story, probably one who have followed, they can understand that even after that, the Sita was not accepted by Lord Rama because of so many social things and all. So we also went to the Sita Amman temple. It's a very religious space for us. Well, so that was, say, around 700-800 years ago. Now coming on to the recent saal, just 100 years ago. With the changing social aspect, our national poet who has been designated, Maithili Sharan Gupta, he wrote, quote, Abla जीवन हाय तुम्हारी यही कहानी आंचल में है दूध और आंखों में पानी. He is equating the female as a, you can say, a person who is not having, he is a very weak person, and he is telling that, okay, you have got the milk in your breast and the tears in your eyes. Actually, this quote was given when he wrote that famous, you can say, that Yashodhara, that character who was based on the Gautam Buddha story when he left home and his wife. So Yashodhara was the name of his wife, and when he left that place, so then in that context he wrote you can say, a treatise, and there he wrote, and he again equated that female. So he was trying to equate that, okay, so in a kind of, you can say, little bit different manner, because he was saying that, okay, your story is like that, you are only have the milk in your, you can say, the pallu of the sari, the achal, and the tears in your eyes. When Lord Gautam Buddha left his wife to go for nirvana and all. I visited Nuwara Elia and of course many other places as well. With the changing social aspect, as our society progressed, in 18th and 19th century, we were having this problem of sati pratha. So what was that? It was whenever any married female, any person, her husband died, so all the females, they used to go in the burning pyre. That was called the sati pratha. So then during the reforms, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, he stopped this practice. Again, giving a kind of derogatory value, a derogatory connotation to the female. It was even prevalent during the late 1980s in the state of Rajasthan, where the Rajputs, they used to practice. So whenever any king used to be defeated by the other king, all his queens, they used to go into the burning pyre. That, okay, my husband has died, so we are not going to survive without him, and we will prefer to die rather. So that was there. So still in the very late 1980s we have. And that the problem of bride burning, the dowry death, that was there. Still it is there. So we have made specifically act to tackle with that. What is dowry death? It is related with that within 7 years of marriage, if some female dies, and if there are issues and there are proofs that she has been subjected to cruelty before, for want of dowry and so many things. So if she dies, so it will be treated as a dowry death, and it will be investigated in a totally different manner, not as a routine manner. So even though the lady has committed suicide by burning most of the times, so from there the bride burning came in 1970s. It was there. Now, of course, the method of committing suicide has changed, but during those times, it used to be the preferred method. But that problem of dowry death is still persisting. So any married female dying within 7 years of marriage, and if it is proved that before her marriage, she was subjected to cruelty for want of dowry. Dowry means whatever the valuables, whatever is there, so the female is supposed to give to the male side. So if that is not acceptable by the male side, so the female torture and all these things were going on. So we have made special provisions, 304B, the Indian Penal Code. And now, of course, from last year itself, from 1st July 2024, we have just changed the whole legal scenario, whole legal system of functioning, which was there since the British times. All these IPCs and all, they were from the British times. Now, from 1st July 2024, we have got the new act, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So there are not only the changes in the numbers, but there are little small changes in the act itself. But it is still prevalent. The Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 80 deals with specifically with the dowry death. When we talk about the crime against women, no age is spared. The female suffers since birth to death. So I will take you to this journey from womb to tomb in now half an hour or so. Present scenario, as per the National Crime Records Bureau Statistics 2022, very alarming statistics are there. A crime against women is committed every minute, literally every minute, 51 crimes against women in 1 hour. That includes a whole lot of things. 51 in 1 hour. So approximately, you can say, every minute we are having some kind of crime against women happening in some part of the country. A woman is raped every 29 minutes. Molestation occurs every 15 minutes. Dowry death every 77 minutes. A case of cruelty is committed either by the husband or relatives every 9 minutes. This is of course the old data, but they have, because the data reporting pattern is also changing with the passage of time. The way we used to report earlier, now we are reporting in a different manner. But this problem is there. Continuing. So in crime against women in general has been continuously increasing despite so many efforts. Now you see, in 2011, we were having 2.2 at 8 lakhs, means you can equate it 0.228 million in 2011. In 2014, we have got exponential jump. It looks like there are so many drastic increase during these 3 years, but actually the genesis was, as I shared in the morning also, that it was 2012 Act, which was amended, Criminal Amendment Act, after the Nirbhaya episode. So we amended that act. So much activism was going on all over the country. So afterwards, the females came for the reporting and all. So actually the reporting has increased much after 2012, and it looks like that cases are increasing exponentially, which before it was underreported. 2014, 3.77 lakh, 2020. So it is continuously 21, 22, gradually. It is, in terms of number, it looks like increasing. If you compare with the population, it is minuscule, right? That's why I told you initially, it's a population, but then in terms of the gross number, it looks huge. 4,45,000, almost 0.5 million. There are different types of crime reported in 2022. And of course, out of these, most heinous one is rape in particular, and we have seen there is 700% rise in rape cases in 36 years from India after independence. That was the slogan. It was actually during that Nirbhaya episode when all the activism was going on all over the country to change that rape act and all. And when we talk about the states, the various states, the West Bengal having 7.5% of the total population approximately, but in terms of number of cases, it is 12.7% of the cases. So it is increased, or so more in the state of West Bengal, followed by Andhra Pradesh, where in terms of population it is 7%, but in terms of number of cases of rape, it is 12.4%. There are so many acts which have been framed for protection of females, starting from the womb. And we have got a predominant patriarchal society, not a matriarchal society. It is led by a male person, patriarchal society. So when we talk about this, the ordeal starts from the conception itself. There are problems of sex-selective abortions. There is a huge problem of female feticide. There is a total distorted sex ratio. And because so many female feticide happening because of that after the advent of the ultrasound. So when the ultrasound was invented, the idea was something different, but it was misused for the purpose of sex determination in utero, and as soon as it was found as female, many of the times the sex-selective abortions were there. So in 1971, to take care of that problem of this abortion, this female feticide, we formed that MTP Act, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act in 1971. That idea was different at that point of time. Then, to take care of this specific problem after ultrasound and all, then we had the Prenatal Diagnostic Technique Act, just to take care of this, and we have made so many things that the sex of the fetus cannot be revealed during that process of examination, and the act has to be in the picture. 1994, then again we found that even though that act is there, but then people have, you can say, tried to exploit the lacuna. So sometimes they are using different kind of things. So how to communicate the sex? So even though they are examining, they are doing the ultrasound for some purpose, in the garb of that, okay, we are investigating if the lady is suffering some disease or the fetus is normal in growth and is not having any kind of abnormality. But when they come to know that whether it's a male, female, so the parent, the father or the relatives, they are concerned what is the sex of the child. And then they are used to use the sign languages because they cannot tell. So they used to do the sign languages. With the help of sign languages, they used to tell that what is the sex of that. So again and again, then even in the pre-conception stage, they tried to modify the sex of the fetus and all. So we modified the act and we placed PNC PDT Act. That is the Pre-Concept Selection Diagnostic Techniques Acts. Prenatal and pre-conception techniques, selection techniques. All these just to control the problem of females feticide. So because there is every attempt as soon as they come to know, in few of the places, not everywhere, but then it is happening. And because of that, if you see the male-female ratio, most of the world, the female-male ratio, I should say, is 1050, means every 1,000 males, there are approximately 1,050 females. But in India, it is contrast, 930 females as compared to 1,000 males. And especially there is a huge divide between North India and South India. So if you go to the North India, because of the predominant patriarchal mindset, the sex ratio goes further down, 850. So for every 1,000 male, there are only 850 females. That is the ratio in North India. That was there earlier. Luckily, with all these acts and all, now the sex ratio has much increased. So now, as per the latest data, now we are having 106.4 males for the 100 females. So the gap has really come down because of all those activism, because of all those, you can say, the knowledge, dissemination, understanding, and change in the mindset of the society as well. As people are becoming more and more educated and following the child norms, two-child norms, and all those kind of things, now the sex ratio has improved much. As per the rough estimate, during the last 20 years, 10 million girls we have lost in India because of that sex-selective abortions and the female feticide and all. We have even at the National Human Rights Commission also, I handled one case where so many illegally dumped fetuses were found in a nursing home in Bihar, and it was when it was known, the complaint was made to the Human Rights Commission, and they contacted me how to handle that, and we went there and we saw that out of all those aborted fetuses, all were females. So it was a proof that yes, it is all selective. Otherwise, if it is a normal abortion, there must be a males also. But then it was found dumped behind his nursing home, and because of some construction work, it just came to know, and there were so many fetus, all female fetus, buried there. Female feticide problem was maximum in the state of Madhya Pradesh. This is old data. Feticide cases increased by 19% in a year. The trend is almost same, because now our reporting pattern and all that is gradually changing. So it is very difficult to compare what was happening earlier and now. If I talk about the national capital of Delhi, where I live, and it's supposed to be the representation of India, here again this type of news were there earlier. Now, luckily, so it used to be 762. It was, in fact, worst when we talk about. It should be ideally reverse, because it's an educated city and the capital of the country, there should be more. But as per the data, it was actually much less what we expected. Now, as of now, it has increased, but still it has reached up to 868 in 2024. 868 females for 1,000 males. So there are specific acts for the protection of all these we have formulated. So one, before birth of a female child, all those things, problems, acts were there. Now, if the female child is born, then further, what happens? Many of the times what we see, there occurs the abandoning of a female child. To take care of all these issues, abandoning of female child and all those issues, we have formulated specific sections of the IPC, Indian Penal Code, now again in the new code which is applicable from last year itself. All these sections deal with different versions of different scenarios of abandoning of a female child. All female infanticide, various varieties, various scenarios, they are covered under these acts. Then the child grows further up to 6 years. She is neglected, discriminated in terms of not giving a proper nutrition, general care, medical attention. All these problems were there. So even before IPC, I was just going through the literature, then I found that even much before, the first recorded case of a punishment in case of a female infanticide in India, I could trace back to 178 years ago, when the Britishers fined a Rajkot ruler, at that time 12,000 rupees for female infanticide. So the problem is long standing. Of course, now we are changing much. So during growing years, when the child achieves further, so during childhood, she is vulnerable to all kinds of child abuse, going up to the sexual abuse also. I'm not going into the details, I have already covered in the morning itself. As per the Government of India survey, almost 53% of the children are abused in some way or other. India is a signatory to the UN Convention on the Rights of a Child, but then there was no specific law. Various IPCs were, you can say, dealing in different manner before 2012. So it was grossly inadequate. So as I shared in the morning also, who is a child was also not uniformly defined, because depending upon the scenario, the definition of the child changes. Suppose you are talking about the child labor, for age, for that, the age of the child is 14 years. It is not 18 years, right? And even for the some kind of specific job, they can be employed even up to 14 to 15 years, right, under the Factories Act. So different variations as per the definition of the child also changes as per the scenario. So if we talk about this crime against the woman, yeah, it's all states, different states have got this type of problem. The journey further continues. Then we formulated the POCSO Act just to deal with the, you can say, the sexual offenses against the children. And we made so many reforms in the way the sexual abuse cases against the children used to be handled in before 2012, and after 2012 we formed a special court, Juvenile Justice Board, where all the problems related with that used to be held over there, more stringent punishment, and we tried to address the juvenile offenders also. So one is the abuse victim, another is the offender. So offender also, what kind of punishment can be given? Even at that time we were discussing, because of that, you can say very gory crime. Probably you might have followed the Nirbhaya case. Actually in that case there were 4 accused, and one of the accused was 17.5 years. So he was less than 18, but he was actually the most brutal one. So when it came to the trial, the judges were in fix that what kind of punishment we can give it to him. He is less than only 6 months below, but as per the law, he can be kept maximum up to 21 years of age, till he attains 21 years of age. Means in the reforms, not in the jail, in the child reforms homes, he can be for 3.5 months. That's all. And in fact, he was the most brutal one. So at that time, there were calls, and because of the public, you can say, pressure and all those going on all over the country. So they demanded that it should be, they should be juvenile offended, they should be castrated, surgical, and maybe surgically they castrated, or maybe some kind of chemical castration can be given. So this was there. So again, that was referred, what should be the punishment and all. So okay, we discuss, and then yes, of course, it will amount to another human rights violation. So please don't think of these kind of archaic or barbaric things in the current scenario, right? Public psyche at that point of time when any heinous crime occurs, it's a totally different. You cannot control them. They want blood in, you can say, blood for blood, like that. So after that, aftermath of that Nirbhaya case that happened on 16 December 2012, we just changed the way the rape or the sexual assault cases used to happen. So we formulated within 3 months. So all those, you can say, activism was going on all over the country. On 2nd April 2013, we framed and gusted this latest act, Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, and now, of course, it has been changed to BNS, and section 63 to 73, they cover these various types of sexual offenses against the females. So this was actually the recommended to the Justice Verma Commission, how to improve the scientific investigation, and what could be the role of the forensics in that whole scenario. So at that time, everybody was concerned with that, and I was at the helm of affairs. I was the general secretary of my association, And at that time, actually, it was just full in the news media how to improve that investigation, what is the role of forensic, what is the conviction rate, and because of the lack of scientific evidences, so many cases are being left and the court is helpless to do that. So what kind of changes we can do? So we tried to emphasize more on the DNA analysis and all those kind of things. So we tried to have more and more DNA labs, more and more involvement of the scientific investigation. Even afterwards we changed the whole pro forma, the way the examination should be done, and all those kind of changes just happened after this Justice Verma Commission. So we fought, and actually all those recommendations, what from the medical point of view, what I drafted actually was accepted as such. So now the act which was framed before 2013 and after 2013, there is a lot of emphasis on the scientific evidences and a lot of changes now. So this was there, and we tried to address the other, you can say, offenses related with that sexual things. Sexual harassment at workplace, that was also defined, and even that 3 years of imprisonment is there. And there are again guidelines that if any female is harassed at workplace, right? So in that scenario also, there is a period of 90 days that her complaint must be addressed, and or then, yeah, coarse sexual activity like molestation and all, which were otherwise go totally unnoticed many of the times because of that the persons in the position of power, they used to have that, and then all these things were addressed. Previously, it was not, it was just one act of indecent assault. We just covered 354 before that. So then it was changed to certain subsections A, B, C, D, like outraging the modesty of female. So it was specified 354A, now it is converted to 74 BNS. Sexual harassment, 75 BNS. Assault, disrobing of a female, that also. Now there is no medical evidence, but then it has to be dealt. 76 BNS. Voyeurism, 77 BNS. Stalking, 78 BNS. So earlier, these were not defined. So after this amendment in 2013, they were defined that, okay, if this type of thing is happening, that also needs to be punished and needs to be dealt with the strong hand. They should not go unnoticed that, okay, going on, okay, let's forget because there are no evidence, only the statement of witnesses and all. So, and again, when we changed this act, there were again so many discussions were there, and we tried to address that. So the rape, as I told you, it's a gender specific offense. It's not a gender neutral offense. POCSO Act is a gender neutral offense. So male also can be covered. A male victim is also covered under the POCSO, but not under the definition of rape. So, and then we changed all those things which used to problematic in our day-to-day practice. Earlier, as per the rape law, I am talking about 2013, the age for giving the consent for the sexual intercourse was 16 years. So that was a problematic thing because many of the times this was the border mark, 16 years and then 18 years, and then all these persons or these girls were used to refer for the age estimation also. Many of the times they were not having proof of the documentary proof of their date of birth. So when it comes again to the forensic or the doctors for the determination of age, and actually we cannot pinpoint the age, so that benefit of doubt was usually given to the accused. So we address that, change that age, make it uniform for 18 years, and the enhanced punishment in the various situations, incest and certain things which were archaic. With the passage of time, we removed that also. And in fact, the adultery, which was earlier made as an offense, after 2018, it was removed from the ambit of the criminal offense. It could be a ground for the divorce, but not a criminal offense. All right? And then unnatural sexual offenses, again, that whole offense in the current scenario, all those, because people are talking about the same-sex marriage and all those kind of things. So that section also has been repealed. Now there is no counterpart of that 377, which used to earlier cover all those things, including the bestiality, right? So that is another issue. Bestiality is a different issue. We had one problem where, because of that, we faced that where to cover when a person was found involved in the bestiality. So there was no counterpart of the BNS. Then the sexual perversions also, we tried to address that. And in that, I can remember one case of a very heinous crime which has occurred in India, Nithari case in 2008, 2007 probably, 7. We handled it in 2008. There, the 18 children, over a period of 2 years, they were disappearing from a particular location. And afterwards, when one servant was found, one person was found, and it was alleged that he killed all those persons, and he was suffering from necrophilia and necrophagia. So because of that, he used to lure the children, and then afterwards, he used to perform necrophilia, and even afterwards, he tried to eat their body parts, necrophagia. So all those kind of things, perversions also, we tried these type of cases. So now we have got a totally, you can say, much enhanced, elaborate sections, BNS, from last year. So what we did in 2013, it is little bit more elaborate and more comprehensive, that these things also needs to be addressed. And in this particular section, this 72 BNS have been specifically added, that there should not be any disclosure of the identity of the victim. There should not be disclosure of the identity of the victim or the survivor, which otherwise used to happen very frequently. So that we change our system of handling in the court. We don't, whenever the victim is there, we don't name it. Miss A, Miss B, like that, right? Never the name of the victim does not come in the official records. It is only at the time of lodgement of the FIR it is there, but then afterward during the proceedings, nowhere the name of the survivor or the victim comes. But then still people are not aware about all these basic things. Still. Now I'm discussing this case, the RG Kar case, Kolkata case last year, where a female doctor was brutally raped and murdered. Just happened last year. I can remember the date, it was 9th August, it happened. So luckily, within 4 days, 5 days, it was handed over, because there were so many, you can say, things going on all over the country. People were, you can say, all the people were on the roads doing all those candlelight, the march and all those kind of things. We want justice and all. And it was a doctor. She was raped in the hospital premises. So I was called to handle that case. And now you see so many dimensions to this case. The way the media reported in the news, actually that created a lot of problem. The news heading was like this: 150 milligrams semen in Kolkata doctor's body. That was reported by the media. And now every person becomes expert, and then there were issues. Okay, 150 milligram, 150 ml, let's say. So means what is the amount of ejaculate per ejaculate? Maybe 3 to 5 ml. So that means there should be at least 30 to 50 persons. From there, this semen could come. So all the story of gang rape, brutal gang rape, all these things were floating in the media. When I handled afterwards, actually it was the way the doctor has written that report. It was actually the weight of the uterus. So the way he written the report, he forgot to put the comma and there, and it was interpreted by the non-concerned person or non-scientific persons, media persons like that. Because the media thrives on the sensational journalism. It is their bread and butter. They try to sensationalize each and every case, each and everything. But when we go into the intricacies of the case, when we handle case, what we see, no, it is absolutely not like that. The case is something totally different. So just out of context I discussed, and there again, there were the face of the victim that was going on all over media. Even our doctor colleagues, the students, because it was the doctor, it was in the hospital premises, all over the country, people were posing her photograph and putting the candle lights and all, which is actually not at all expected, and it is prohibited as per the law. But nobody is aware of those, that okay, we must not reveal the identity of the survivor at any stage. So when we talk about the sexual assault, of course, it's a legal term, it's not a medical diagnosis. We never say that the rape has occurred. It is the judge who will decide, depending upon so many evidences. And ultimately, it is the statement of the survivor or the victim which supersedes everything, right? But still, we as a forensic experts, or what could be the role of the doctor in all those scenarios, just to collect all those, do a proper examination. So we tried to change all those practices, the way it used to be handled, made to pro forma, uniform pro forma for all over the country. Otherwise, you see in one page, only one page. There is, some states are following only one-page report, some states are following 4-page report, some states are following 10-page report. So after that, we changed that, and it is uniform. Again, we just trying to advocate and try to disseminate this information all over the country. India is a huge country, so simple information to go up to the grassroots level, sometimes it takes even 5 years or more. People are not aware at the grassroots level, who are working at that villages and all, that what is the current national guidelines. So that happened. So this is you can say the BNS again, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. We changed that act and all. So many things we discuss about this when we talk about these human rights violation issues. Again, there was issue, the female used to be subjected for this 2-finger test, and it was said by the Supreme Court that it is degrading and again inhuman. So it is violative of the basic human rights. So please don't do that. The idea of the gynecologist was something different, but it was portrayed in the media because many of the times earlier, the defense used to just touch upon or attack on the chastity of the woman, usually attack on that. So then they tried to do that. So we changed that whole scenario, right? So habituated to sexual intercourse, those kind of things were discussed in the court. So during that time, just to get the benefit of doubt and all those kind of things. Now it's absolutely changed. And still we are having that potency test of the accused, whether the accused who has been caught, whether he is capable of performing sexual intercourse. We are trying to even educate our judges and all those personals that this is not required. It is simply what we write in the report, there is that the person is incapable of performing sexual intercourse. There is nothing to suggest that person is incapable of performing sexual intercourse. That is the standard opinion of all the accused cases of the sexual assault. So what does it mean? Nothing. So if you are able to collect few of the evidences, that's fine. But then many of the times, if the accused has been caught after 2 months, and now you are coming, subjecting him for potency test, and sometimes even few of the judges and all the investigating officers, they requested to have that extra test, like the penile Doppler test, whether his erection is there or not. All those kind of things, without understanding the medical intricacies and without understanding actually the definition of rape. If you just understand the definition of rape, all these things becomes redundant. So still we are educating all the persons involved in this whole chain of investigation. Talking about the related with that sexual jealousy crime, not directly, you can say attack the sexual part, but it is related with that. So that is the vitriolage or the acid attack. We have got that problem that, okay, the person who is usually the failed lover and all, he out of jealousy. So if the female has rejected his proposal, so what he will do, he will just attack, throw the strong acids like hydrochloric acid and all, sulfuric acid, H2SO4, HNO3, these over the face, just to, idea is to disfigure the face of the victim. to take some kind of revenge. That okay, if you cannot become mine, you will not be for anyone, right? So to deal with that problem of vitriolage or the acid attack, again we incorporated subsections 1 and 2 in 2013 and tried to address. Now the BNS is there. There we made it a very stringent punishment of 10 years life imprisonment along with the fine. And now we are talking about more on the monetary compensation part, because when we go into the intricacies of the acid attack or the vitriolage, it's altogether different scenarios, right? So we are more concentrating on the financial aspect, because the girl needs long-term survival. The girl needs multiple surgeries. Even after that, she cannot come back to the normal, but who will pay the cost of that? One is the criminal aspect, that okay, the person may be imprisoned for 10 years, but what will happen to the survivor? Those 10 years, how that is going to help the survivor? It is not going to help. So where is the monetary compensation part? So government is also supporting. There are different schemes through various agencies that they should be taken care of. Various NGOs are there, but then the concept of recovering the monetary part from the victim along with this, that also is being gradually advocated and gradually being practiced. So otherwise, they are just a grievous injury. So the remedies were there earlier, but it was, you can say, much mild. But this specific introduction of this crime, sexual jealousy crime, because it related with some kind of sexual jealousy, so this we tried to do that. No age has been spared, as I shared that when we talk about the sexual offenses, right from, you can say, 1 year to 80 year, 90 year, this offense of just sexual offense, if I talk, that also, a female of 80 years can also be raped. Likewise, a girl of 2 years, 3 years, 4 years can also be raped. So there is no distinction, no age has been spared. We have seen the cases, sporadic cases like that. Trafficking of female, of course, that is also we have faced. Honor killings is one of the issues. Sometimes because of the societal mindset, sometimes the parents of the female herself, the parents, they kill and just giving, because they are, suppose they are want to marry the person of her choice and they are not exceeding. So sometimes we see that kind of cases also. Or sometimes we have got the division in certain areas, division of casteism and all. Sometimes these type of cases happen over that also. So I handled one very famous case at that time, not infamous, it's infamous case. Badaयूं, there are two sisters, both unmarried, one 15 years, one 18 years. They were found hanging on a mango tree, on the branch of a mango tree. And I was the chairman, I handled that. And ultimately I concluded, and the allegation was that two girls were brutally raped and murdered and hanged on a tree, just to give a lesson to the society, because the girls were belonging to the lower strata. The story was like that. But when I did that, actually it was a case of suicide, dietic suicide. They committed suicide by hanging themselves and all. So a documentary was also made, Voices Under the Mango Tree. So these are the few of the glimpses of that Nithari case, what I told you, the necrophilia and necrophagia, that cases. And this is the documentary on this Badaयूं case, where two sisters were found dead on this mango tree. So now if you see the type of mango tree, then it helps a lot. Without imagination of mango tree is different, but when you actually see, then you can realize that where these two sisters were found, and we recreated and we did that, and we concluded that it's a case of suicidal hanging. There is no homicidal killing or no evidence of even rape also, because the girls were caught in a compromising position. His uncle has seen him. Because of that shame and guilt, they ran away from that place, and afterwards in the early morning wee hours they committed suicide. So we found many of the evidences. So all these things were, you can say, we see this dowry, of course, I think I have already covered. Along with the dowry, there is a cruelty against women also. So there is a specific act to deal with that also. And when we talk about dowry death, it's a different kind of investigation if the lady dies. Normally, one doctor conducts the autopsy in all the cases, even in the homicide cases. But if it is a case of dowry death, when there is a specific allegation by the relatives, father, mother, by the relatives of the girl, that yes, there was a demand of dowry, and because of that persistent demand of dowry, we tried to fulfill that. But then they, every year, every 6 months, they were demanding this, that, and all. So if that is there, it has to be dealt in a different manner. So instead of the normal police inquest, which happens in 99% cases, in dowry death cases, the inquest has to be conducted by the magistrate. It is not done by the police. So, because just to take care of. And the autopsy also should be done by the 2 doctors, not 1 doctor, right? Just to give a more comprehensive scientific handling investigation of these. So that process, we changed that. Right, but then there is another problem of that, how the board of firm and all those kind of things. Anyway, when we talk about the human rights issues, further, domestic violence, even after marriage, this constitutes a global problem. And as per the National Coalition, there are 1.3 million cases every year. So we formulated in 1983 this specific act of 498A, cruelty against the woman. Earlier it was not there. So 304B was found much before that, but then it was seen that it was not actually able to handle completely. So then this section was added afterwards, around 14 years or so. 1969, probably this Dowry Act was implemented, and then 83, this cruelty against the woman was implemented. Then we have another act in 2005, where we have got the Domestic Violence Act case. This is the Protection of Women from the Domestic Violence Act. So this was introduced in 2005. So we have seen even the 2009 data, 90,000 cases were reported, and this 20% of the married women were between this age group of 15 to 49. So they were subjected to all kind of physical, emotional, behavioral, sexual, and economic torture violations. So when we see all these cases, so many of the times when they are subjected for the physical torture and all, so these are the manifestations of the physical torture, what we see. So many of the times we just observe the bruises on the body, but on the specific areas, but then the trivial complaints, which otherwise it can be missed. So we have seen that repeated termination of pregnancy, repeated miscarriages, unexplained injuries, inconsistent with whatever explanation or alleged history which is being given, and then, of course, the depression, anxiety, self-harm, attempted suicide, all these are manifestation of emotional and psychological abuse, this human rights violation. Behavioral issues are there, frequent hospital visits, fearful, evasive, economic issues are also there, sexual offense, sexual things are already, there is a separate act. So how to document it properly, we have tried to address that. And then this, what we have observed, that which the victim of abuse idea was to have this practical remedy, but it has been observed that many of the times it has been reportedly used against the men. So the false allegations also, because there is a very different stringent act. So females are trying to allegate, and afterwards it was found there was a false allegation in this. So, and in one survey in Mumbai, they found that men alleged that women are actually misusing it more, this act, misusing it for their personal gains, just an allegation of this domestic violence. And then this was the issue whether this can be applicable to the male also. So the Karnataka High Court said that this Domestic Violence Act cannot be used against the woman. So there was issue whether the reverse, because my wife is torturing, I am not torturing, actually the wife is torturing. So where is the remedy for the poor male? So with the change in the societal mindset and all, we have seen all variety of cases. So in Delhi High Court, they clarified that this act could also be used for the males, vice versa also, because this is not, it is just domestic violence. So if the female or the wife is having violence over the male, this act, this gives the remedy to the male also. So this was a painting from very ancient times, and actually if you see the female who is beating her husband. So that means there must be something like that, because it was that and it was depicted in one of the paintings. So it is prevalent in the society, but very difficult to accept that. But I have seen even very heinous cases of domestic torture from the affluent class also. So many, this was a brutal case where the husband was torturing his wife just to derive the sexual pleasure and having after the cigarette butt, and he was just putting the cigarette butts over her legs and thighs and even the genitalia. So kind of sadistic behavior and all. Very difficult to handle, very difficult, because most of the times these will not come up to the at the stage of examination, or at the stage of reporting, or at the stage of lodging the complaint also. So how to document these and all, again, there is a role of us, and how we do it so that the court can understand. A mere description does not work. So the photographic documentation and all, how to do that, and that is there. Sexual harassment against women at workplace. I have already told that there is a stringent action. A committee has to be there. But now again, as what we have seen, it is increasingly being misused by the females. So to you can say, to conceal their competence, many of the times they use this act, that I am being unnecessarily harassed by the superior. So this act is also being misused. You can say, after observing those findings of that, because every institute has to have that one committee which has to specifically deal with that, what is called as POSH Act. In fact, we have introduced POSH, sexual harassment of the person at the workplace, females basically. So now the vices are that to make it gender neutral, because if it is being misused, or the vice versa, or the female boss is there and the male colleague or subordinate is there, where is the remedy? And what is the, if a false allegation is there, who will compensate for that? So this journey from womb to tomb continues. As the female grows further, becomes, you can say, senior citizen, 60 years of age and all, then also what we have observed, that crime against elderly is also increasing. 7.5% of the total population as of now is of elderly persons. Life expectancy in India is more for female in comparison to male. So they survive, a general life expectancy is more. So when they are more, and it is expected that elderly female population in 2016, it has crossed 53%. So in comparison to males, the 53%, that means more number of females, and female elderly persons, they are going to be there in future. So we have to address what kind of problems they are going to suffer. We have to make policies and accordingly to take care of that. And it is expected that by 2050, there will be 1065 females over 1,000 males in the elderly age group, in the geriatric age group, what we called as beyond 60 years of age. So it's a matter of time only how it happens. So what we see, all these cases of elderly abuse, every third senior citizen is abused. That's a general statement, and mainly by his own son. Extreme forms of human rights violation issues also we have faced, what we called as senicide or gerontocide, which is practiced in the state of Tamil Nadu, where elderly person is given an extensive oil bath early in the morning and then made to drink glasses of the tender coconut water. And this leads to renal failure, high fever, fits, and death within 1 to 2 days. So it's a kind of giving death, kind of practicing euthanasia, I should not say, a kind of killing basically, over a period of time, just to conceal that. And this was there, that it was exposed during 2010, where they came to know that this practice is very much prevalent in a particular area, where so many elderly persons are dying with having a definite pattern that they are made to think that, and within 2 days they are dying, and certified as a natural death, nothing was there. But it is in fact a cooling. So all those issues are there. So then, of course, this, as I discussed in the earlier, in 2011, when the act was not there, so as a kind of punishment, as a form of punishment, there used to be parade of the tribal females in the broad daylights. So what will you do? There were no, you can say, acts which were defined that. So in 2012 and all, so because they just got away that, okay, some form of simple punishment, because there's nothing legal, law was helpless at that time. So, but in fact, it's a gross human rights violation. So it is there. So if we talk about the medico-legal concerns, so any offense, any crime against the female body or the human body, there are so many human rights violation issues, as I just tried to cover, the right from the birth until the elderly death. Criminal investigation has to be strengthened. There is to be role of the forensic expert specifically, because we handle all those cases most of the times, and we come into picture. So we also have to be vigilant and aware of all these issues. So multitasking and manifold, the role of the forensic expert is much, because he is the crucial link, especially when we talk about the collection of the trivial evidences which are otherwise missed by the normal doctors, routine doctors even, and their proper interpretation in the context of the case. And then how you frame the expert opinion, actually, that is the art. The same thing for a layman person will look like different. He will interpret in a different manner rather than an expert who will, same things, same observations, same findings, but it is actually the matter of interpretation where the role of expertise comes into picture. So all these human rights violation issues for any kind, we have got the National Human Rights Commission, and again we tried to simplify that. So any person can approach, and just a very simple complaint filing procedure, just online, so generated, and you can follow what will happen to that complaint. And NHRC has got a mandate that any kind of human rights violation occurring in any part of the India, if it is reported even in the media, they can take the suo motu cognizance, and the investigation they can start, because they have got own investigation system. So it's a quasi-judicial body, so they have got all those powers to investigate and all. There also the role of the forensic expert is very, very important when we try to help these, specifically these very complicated and tricky issues. So most of the times they advocate for the monetary compensation, if they say, or the advisory to the government also, that okay, these system, these things needs to be changed. So we changed so many advisories, so many procedures during this last 10 to 15 years. And if they find that any criminal action needs to be initiated, they can also direct the investigating authorities to investigate the criminal proceedings also. They have got the power to direct the investigating authorities also. So these are the issues specifically what we deal, but yes, not of the time. So to conclude, we have to treat with caution. Always a multidisciplinary approach always helps. So we have to work at different level, educational level. We have seen so many religious beliefs which otherwise are accepted in that particular society, but when we see that actually these are also human rights violation, branding of a child, especially a female child, witchcraft practices, gerontocide as I shared, all these. So it is believed, but then this also is a human rights violation issue. And especially if it is against the female, it becomes even more sensitive, and it needs to be handled that. Public awareness is also needed to understand these kind of issues, so that proper remedial measures can be taken by them. So, to have the better investigation system, there is of course role of all those persons. So, all the stakeholders involved in that process, they all needs to be trained that, okay, you also needs to be, to take care of, or needs to take care of these issues, and your role is also important, because ultimately, when you talk about the investigation of all these, it is the all the teamwork. So no matter whatever best doctor is there, if the police is not up to the mark, the case will fall. So there is continuous upgradation of their knowledge and all that is required. Police, doctor, forensic scientists, public prosecutors, the lawyers, as well as the judiciary as well. Right? We have seen many of the times that even the judges don't understand the typical medical issues and whatever is being, so sometimes the judges discuss personally also to how to handle that. So that awareness actually helps when we do that. So of course now we are having the one-stop help center or the one-stop center, what is called as ASHA all over the India. And we are trying to work upon that issue itself, because that is the biggest issue. Justice delayed is justice denied. And in our circumstances, it is usually the 10 years is the minimum norm in the criminal investigation. Afterwards, it comes into the trial stage. Many of the times what we receive the summon, we have done the case 15 years ago, and we are receiving the summon in today's criminal investigation. So we had tried to address these issues and changes, especially when we talk about the sexual offense and all those cases where the fast track and the different kind of mechanism is in place. So that is gradually being done to have a better justice delivery system. And of course, what we have found that all those, so the multi-pronged intervention is required, because these are the 4 pillars of the investigation. So prompt punishment, of course, is there. So that's why we are trying to have the fast track courts and all. POXO cases, it is said that, okay, you should finish within 2 months, but practically that is not possible. But then up to 2 years, but not 2 years, not beyond 2 years in any case, right? So usually, still, it gives a lot of support to the victim. So changing laws with the changing society, we have to understand. Regular trainings of the police person, that is one of the very, very important aspects which needs to be done, because they have to be aware of all those issues, especially when we talk about the crime investigation and all. So this kind of interaction with the training of the police person is also required. So I am fond of interacting with that. So all over the country, I go there and I just try to address the very simple things, so that at least they can collect this, the way the scientific evidences are to be collected, handled, and what needs to be done. So for overall improvement, that is also important. And yes, of course, in camera trial, we discuss in the morning also that when we talk about especially the sexual offenses against the females, POXO and all, there's a totally different mechanism of handling the trial as well to have that. With this, I will close it here, and I will invite you once again for this conference of AIIMS 2025. We are having it in Kolkata, the city of joy, on 9th, 10th, and 11th November. So where all the partners are there from the law, forensic science, as well as medical are there with these themes: innovating justice, bridging forensic medicine, science and law for the sustainable solutions. We will have the 2 workshops also, as I shared in the morning, 2 days. So you all are invited over this AIIMS conference. The AIIMS was founded in the Sri Lanka itself. So it's basically your conference. Once it moves, once in 3 years to all. So this time you all are welcome to the city of joy, Kolkata, on these dates. So thank you for your patient listening. And I'll be happy to take the queries, any queries, please.
That was an enriching conclusion to our first day, and our deepest gratitudes to Professor Adarsh Kumar for his insightful, very detailed keynote address today. And to honor him with a token of appreciation, I invite Professor Anuruddhi Edirisinghe on stage. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Damayanti Edirisinghe, member of the steering committee and the organizing committee, I cordially invite you to deliver the closing remarks for day 1.
Good evening, everyone. As we draw to a close, it's my profound honor and privilege to extend our heartfelt gratitude to those who have made this conference, and particularly the keynote of Third International Conference of Center for Gender Studies, so impactful. First and foremost, a profound thank you to our esteemed keynote speaker, Professor Adarsh Kumar from AIIMS, New Delhi, for delivering Human Rights Violation of Women in India, Journey from Womb to Tomb from Forensic Perspective. Your insights have been invaluable, shedding light on critical areas of rights of women in India. And the lessons we learned today is not only your country, but for all Southeast Asian countries. We are also incredibly grateful to all our international participants, and your presence and contributions have fostered a global dialogue, bringing diverse perspectives and experiences to forefront. This cross-cultural exchange is essential as we work towards universal best practices in rights of women and children. And I acknowledge the service providers of child protection from health, law enforcement, and social care services and child protection services. To the dedicated forensic medicine doctors and pediatricians present, your unique insights from the front lines of child welfare are indispensable. Your daily commitment to safeguarding children, often in challenging circumstances, is commendable, and your participation here strengthens our collective efforts. And finally, our sincere appreciation goes to all the university academics who have supported the Center for Gender Studies in undertaking this crucial task. Your academic rigor, research, and unwavering commitment have been the backbone of this conference. It is through such collaborations that we can truly make a difference in the lives of women and children. The success of this conference lies in the collective wisdom and passion of everyone in this room. Thank you all for your invaluable contributions and for joining us in our mission to broaden perspectives on protecting women and children. Thank you all once again very much.
Thank you, Dr. Damayanti. It has been a day filled with lots of education, lots of networking, and I think new opportunities for research and collaborations. I think now it's time to relax our mind a bit and to listen to some songs, watch some dances, and I think let's move on to the cultural show. The stage is yours, Nisangi.
Thank you, Hashan. ආයිබෝවන් සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක්. අද පුරා දවසක් පුරාවට හුඟක් දේවල් ඔයාලා ඇහුවා. හුඟක් දේවල් ධාරණය කරගත්තා. ඉතින් ඔබේ සවස් යාමය අපි ටිකක් වෙනස් විදිහකට ගෙවන්නටයි මේ සූදානම් වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාව කියන්නේ බහු සංස්කෘතික රටක්. බහු සංස්කෘතික රටක් කිව්වහම අපේ රටේ තියෙනවා හුඟක් දේවල්. මොනවද මේ හුඟක් දේවල්? අපිට තියෙනවා විවිධ සංස්කෘතීන්, විවිධ ආගම්, විවිධ ජාතීන්. ඒ විතරක් නෙවෙයි අපේ රටේ ඔබ ජපානයට ගියොත්, සමහරවිට ඔබ යාපනයට ගියොත් පුළුවන් ටිකක් ඉන්දියාවට ළඟ කෑම ඔබට රස විඳින්න. ඔබ ගියොත් මාතර පැත්තට ටිකක් සැර කෑම කන්න පුළුවන්. පොඩක් උඩ රටට ගියොත් ඔබට පුළුවන් වෙනස්ම විදිහේ ආහාර රස විඳින්න. ඒ විතරක් නෙවෙයි. ජනවාරි මාසේ ඉඳන් දෙසැම්බර් වෙනකන් අපේ රටේ තියෙනවා විවිධ සංස්කෘතීන් වල විවිධ දේවල්. අවුරුදු කාලෙට අවුරුදු, රාමසාන් කාලෙට රාමසාන්, තයි පොංගල්. ඉතින් මේ විවිධ දේවල් තියෙන රටක් තමයි ශ්‍රී ලංකාව කියන්නේ. ඉතින් ලංකාව ඇතුලේ තියෙන මේ සංස්කෘතිය ඒ කාලේ ඉඳන් මේ වර්තමානයේ වෙනකන් හරි අපූර්ව විදිහට වර්ධනය වුණා. ඉතින් මේ සංස්කෘතිකාංග අද ඔබ වෙත ගෙනෙන්නටයි මේ සූදානම් වෙන්නේ. අපි ඔබට පළමුවෙන්ම ඉදිරිපත් කරන යන නර්තනාංගය පිළිබඳව පුංචි හැඳින්වීමක් කරන්න. මම ඔබට කිව්වා රටේ විවිධ කොනවල් වල, විවිධ තැන්වල විවිධ සංස්කෘතීන් තියෙන්නේ කියලා. ඉතින් මේ නර්තන කලාවත් විවිධ පැතිවලින් එනකොට එක එක විදිහටලු වෙන්නේ. මමත් හුඟක් මේ ගැන දන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඔවුන් කිව්වා පහත රට නර්තන කලාව එක විදියක්. උඩ රට නර්තන කලාව තව විදියක්. නැත්තම් සබරගම් කලාව තවත් වෙනස් විදිහක්. ඉතින් ඔබට පුළුවන් මහනුවර දළදා පෙරහැර බලන්න ගියොත් මේ ඔක්කොම බලා ගන්න. ඒ විතරක් නෙවෙයි කතරගම පෙරහැර බලන්න ගියොත් තවත් අලුත් අත්දැකීමක් ලබා ගන්න. ඉතින් මේ හැම දෙයකම සංකලනයක් තමයි අද මේ වේදිකාව මත නිර්මාණය වෙන්න නියමිතව තියෙන්නේ. Let me switch into English, please. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to each and every one of you to this beautiful evening filled with colors, music, and traditions. Tonight, we are here to celebrate the rich culture of our beloved Sri Lanka. From the hills of Kandy to the beaches of South, from the dances of our ancestors to the songs that you still alive in our heart. So, to give a brief introduction to the item that you will be witnessing on the stage now, as I mentioned earlier, we have different cultures from different areas from our country. We have Sabaragamu, Udarata, and Pahatarata cultures. Those cultures hold different beats, rhythms, colors, patterns. So now you're going to experience all these three different cultures at the same time, at the same stage. You will see dances, hear music, and enjoy performances that show the true beauty of our country. So sit back, relax, and get ready to travel through the heart of Sri Lanka right from your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for the first item of the day.
ස්වයංභූනම් සදාතනික ධානී බුදුන්ගේ රශ්මිධාරාවෙන් පහළ වූ අවලෝකිතේශ්වර ශ්‍රීනාථ සුරපති සමන්ත මුකාය තාන 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 තනෙන තාන තාන තානේනාතම් තානේනා තානේනාතම් තන තානාම් තන තානේනාතම් තානේනා
මම හිතන්නේ මෙතන ඉන්න හැම කෙනෙක්ටම ටිකක් වෙනස්ම විදිහ අත්දැකීමක් ලබා දුන්නා වුන්. ඒ වගේම තමයි මම මුලින් සඳහන් කළ අත්දැකීම පළවෙනි නර්තනයේම ලැබුණා කියලා මම හිතනවා. බැවින්ම ස්තුතියි අපේ නර්තන කණ්ඩායමට. මම මතක් කරන්න ඕනේ කැලණි විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ විද්‍යාර්ථීන්ම තමයි මේ නර්තනය ඔබ වෙනුවෙන් ගෙනාවේ. මම මේ කතා කරන්න යන පුද්ගලයාට නම් කැලණිය කියන්නේ නුපුරුදු තැනක් නෙවෙයි. ඔබ අද මේ පර්යේෂණ සම්මන්ත්‍රණ සංස්කෘතිය මේ ශ්‍රී පුරුෂ සමාජභාවී අධ්‍යයන කේන්ද්‍රයේ මේ සංස්කෘතිය ශක්තිමත් කිරීමට මුල් පුරුකක් වුණේ ඇය. ඉතින් මේ ආරාධනය හිටපු අධ්‍යක්ෂ ශ්‍රී පුරුෂ සමාජභාවී අධ්‍යයන කේන්ද්‍රයේ ශ්‍රීමත් ජෝන් කොතලාවල ආරක්ෂක විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ අපරාධ යුක්ති අධ්‍යයන පීඨයේ පීඨාධිපති ආචාර්ය අනුෂා එදිරිසිංහ මැතිණියනි ඔබතුමියටයි මේ සභාව ආමන්ත්‍රණයට.
Good evening, everyone. Our delegates and other invitees. Okay.
It seems like you might be referring to the mention of Telegram.
Special guest and also UNICEF team in CGS UK team and other participants of this event. According to the Center for Gender Studies, is an academic, also advocacy platform in the University of Kelaniya, as well as the inter-university system. 2011, our center was started under the former Vice Chancellor Sarath Amunugama, and also our founding director was Professor Maitri Wickramasinghe from Department of English, University of Kelaniya. She has started her policy level work for the university system. Our Center for Gender Studies is very important institute in academic and research institute in the in Sri Lankan higher education system. Why I am saying, we have done a study sexual and gender-based violence, that is policy research. We submitted that our document, University Grant Commission, and after in this time, I can't remember the name, that chair, maybe he published that document and also implemented all gender cell in the each universities. And also now, including private universities, gender cell have established for the promoting gender equity and equality in Sri Lankan society. In our center, mainly we provided lot of research knowledge to our society. The mainly Professor Maitri Wickramasinghe started that research culture and also training culture, gender equity and equality training culture to our society at the grassroots level, in the community level, also the school level, and also inter-university level. We are continuing conducting. There are so many several research projects and also awareness projects for promoting gender equity and equality. 2019, we started Gender Club. It is very special and first gender club in Sri Lanka. It was started our university in collaboration, Foundation of Innovative Social Development in Sri Lanka. We simply, sometimes we call FISD. And our student, over, I think we provided membership over 700 students up to date, and they work 5 parts, especially university activities and also inter-university activities, community activities, and media activities. There are so many directors and students very actively. They participated lot of activities and also related gender equity and equality activities. And other thing is, Center for Gender Studies, our former directors are here, and also current director, Professor Anuruddha Edirisinghe, also Professor Sagarika Kannangara. Under the Sagarika Kannangara period, she has started develop our policy level things. Especially, we prepared the gender policy. And also recently, we council approved our bylaws regarding workplace harassment, and we try to build up the good environment, education environment in our university. Center for Gender Studies and conducting so many national as well as the international project. Professor Maitri Wickramasinghe, first international conference done at the University of Kelaniya. And second one, we done the national conference on gender studies. And third one, also gender disparities, the 2023, conducted at the Ramada Hotel. And third international conference is nowadays, it is going on. And
කාලෙත් එක්ක ඒවා මේ විදිහට වර්ධනය වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඉස්සර දැන් සඳරු කිව්ව විදිහට දී බිසව
නෙලා කැකුළු මල්